This is a story about failure. And Abraham Lincoln. And stand-up comedy. And me. And my friend Seth. In the basement of a pizza place. A little while ago, I got to go to the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Library, and the entire time that I was there, I was just haunted by the memory of one of the worst stand-up shows that I ever did. Haunted by this night. Haunted by this night. I started doing stand-up when I was 18 years old, performing at open mics. I did it all throughout college, and then after I graduated, I was looking for different ways that I could do shows on my own. Independently produced, can I rent venues? Can I make something happen on my own and invite a bunch of people to it? I love the idea of doing themed shows. So for Valentine's Day, I booked 2 nights, and I'm gonna do a singles night for Valentine's Day and a couples night for Valentine's Day. And then I like the idea, ooh, themed shows. What other themed shows could I do? What else is happening in February? I look at the calendar, I see that Abraham Lincoln's birthday is in February. I think, what if for his birthday, I do an entire themed show all about Abraham Lincoln? Abraham Lincoln, what a president. That sounds like a great idea, especially if you already love Abraham Lincoln. You know a bunch about Abraham Lincoln. You tell Abraham Lincoln stories all the time. Oh, Taylor, is that you? Does that describe you perfectly? No. No. I don't know anything about the guy. I know about the beard and the hat and a log cabin and the lawyering. That's about, and he died in the Civil War. I knew about that. I'm not going to pretend like I didn't know anything. But it's not like I had a bunch prepared already. I had the idea, and I had a venue. I booked the show in Denton, Texas. There was this pizza place that had a basement where bands would perform in. I had seen a couple of bands perform down there, and every time I would just fantasize about how cool it would be if I got to do a show in this basement. It feels like such a cool little space. It's so grungy and unfinished, and there aren't that many basements in Texas, and to be able to say I did a show in the basement of a pizza place, and it's small, but you can cram a lot of people in there, and it has low ceilings, which is so important for comedy because it keeps the energy so alive and intense in the room. It felt like it would be perfect. And it also felt like it would mean something. Like if I did a show in this basement, I'm a real comedian. I'm a real performer. I did a real show. I'm somebody now. I call up the pizza place and I'm kind of freaked out by how easy it is to get a show booked there. I just call and say like, hey, can I do something on this night in your basement? And they're like, yeah, what is it? And I was like, it's a comedy show about Abraham Lincoln. And they said, what's your name? And I said, Taylor. And they said, okay. And I said, oh, okay. Oh, Abraham Lincoln? Oh, I could tell you stories. You can see where a bunch of people have booped his nose. There's discoloration on his nose. And I get it. It does feel very tempting that I want to boop him. I just want to boop little baby Lincoln. I can't, I'm not going to. I want to follow the rules. People have also touched here. That's weird, to see the parts on little boy Lincoln that people have touched. I don't like that. But it is funny to imagine just hundreds of people coming in here and just being like, boop. I asked my friend Seth if he'd be interested in doing the show with me. I don't even know if I even asked him, which is a problem that I had. I had a problem with like volunteering Seth for things. The summer before my last semester of college, I was talking to the theater director and she was saying she wanted to find a show that she could do for a dinner theater. Wouldn't that be fun for us to do at the end of the year? Taylor, do you have any ideas? What would be a show that would be good for dinner theater? And I just say, Seth and I could write a show. And she's like, really? And I was like, yeah, we could write an adaptation of A Christmas Carol. That would be awesome. And she said, that would be awesome. And I'm like, that'll be awesome. And then I forget to tell Seth about it until the week of the deadline for the show. And I say, hey, Seth, by the way, we have to write a play for dinner theater. And he was like, oh, when is it due? And I was like, oh, Saturday. And he's like, oh, we should get started. And I'm like, oh yeah, we should get started. And then Friday, we're like, hey, we should get started. That is Seth and I's relationship. I also love the idea of performing with Seth because Seth was fearless in ways that I definitely was not. It felt like he was willing to do anything on stage without second guessing, without getting nervous, without it being some sort of threat to his identity. He could look silly and ridiculous in any situation and find some way to make it funny, which feels like exactly what you need to perform comedy on stage. I had that sometimes. It was like I had a pretty small box of what I felt comfortable looking ridiculous doing, but for Seth, everything was game. And it was so exciting to do stuff with him because being with Seth made me feel more fearless. Except for with this show. I'm not the type of person who is normally creeped out by mannequins, but there is something about these that it really does feel like at any moment they're going to turn. That one especially. That one could be a real dude. That one could be a real dude trying to, and like even like from this angle, it looks like he's trying not to make eye contact with me. It looks like he knows that I'm onto him. I don't remember any of the material. I don't remember how much we actually prepped ahead of time. I know part of the idea was like, let's actually talk about Abraham Lincoln, but maybe some of the facts about Abraham Lincoln could be like a jumping off point for like we could do stuff about ourselves. Like there was this thing that I saw when I did the little research that I did, that there were several people in Abraham Lincoln's life who died of milk sickness. I don't even really know what that term means. I just remember seeing it on the internet, milk sickness, which like I have lactose intolerance. And so I think I kind of know what it feels like to have some milk sickness. And so what if I start talking about Abraham Lincoln's family dying from milk sickness, and I could be like, speaking of milk sickness, how about this tum-tum? And then I could talk about myself for a while. And so it could be like a little bit about Abraham Lincoln, but a little bit about us. And again, I don't know that much about Abraham Lincoln. I don't know much about anything about Abraham Lincoln.
Am I taller than Abe Lincoln? Am I like close? What are those? Hams? You ever sit by the fire reading your book, dreaming under the ham?
I make a poster with Abraham Lincoln's face on it, and I don't even know if there's that much information about what the show is or who's going to be involved or how to find out more information about it. I just remember there's a picture of Abraham Lincoln's face, and I didn't even put it up in that many places, but I thought if I just put up a couple of posters, I didn't even post about it that much on the internet. I just assumed I booked this thing, people are gonna flock. The whole city is gonna feel it deep in their bones. Someone's doing a comedy show about Abraham Lincoln, and by God, I've gotta be there. I just felt like I had to succeed. There's no way I could fail. Up until this point, I had never had a show completely fail before. I had failed at open mics. Oh, absolutely. I had bombed at open mics over and over and over again, and I had gotten used to that. But then, when I had graduated from open mics to actually doing shows where people are paying money to come see it, I had just had such great success. I had mostly done shows in the college town where I lived and went to college in the college town. While I was in the college town, I would do shows in the college town, and everyone from the college would come to the college town shows because there was nothing else to do in this town of college. And it would be packed. We'd have to do multiple shows. We'd be cramming this place up. We didn't even have to promote it that much. We'd put up a couple of posters. We'd talk about it a little bit on the internet, and bada bing, bada boom, people were just showing up. And I just thought, like, this is gonna be the rest of my life. This is just how it works. You book a venue, you tell a couple of people about it, word of mouth spreads like wildfire, and then you have a giant crowd. It felt so easy. What if this is gonna be the rest of my life? What if people are always gonna show up? I'll never fail. I'll never fail, baby boy.
Nobody has booped this man, and I think that that's a missed opportunity. Everyone's been booping young Abraham Lincoln. This man seems so boopable. I won't do it. I won't. But I really want to boop you.
I don't know how much Seth and I even prepared or planned or worked out the show ahead of time. I don't know if we rehearsed. There's no part of me during the preparation process that thinks that this show could fail. I'm the Titanic, baby. I'm like, this thing ain't going down. You can't sink this show, baby. There's this thing that happens when you first start doing stand-up where you just assume you have a lot more material than you really do. When you first start, you think like, I've written all these jokes. I've written this whole story out. Man, if I do all of this, that's gonna be 10 minutes. And then you get up there and you start doing it, and then you realize like, I went through everything that I thought I was going to say in only 2 minutes. Oh no, oh no. And I'm pretty sure that's what was happening to me. I had this idea that I had an hour worth of material. I could do this whole long show all about Abraham Lincoln. Seth and I, it's gonna be chock full of jokes and laughs. It's gonna be the greatest night of our lives. We show up at the pizza place. I go to the front. I'm like, I'm Taylor, I'm here doing a show. And they're like, oh, okay. Everybody who performs down there gets to have a free pizza, so what kind of pizza do you want? And I was like, oh, sausage pizza. And they made it for us. And we got it for free. And we took it down into the basement. And then nobody who worked there checked in on us the rest of the night. They just left us alone down there. They had no idea what we were doing. We could have just not done a show at all. That might be the greatest scam of all time. Why didn't we do that more often? Just sign up, pretending to be a band, get a free pizza, and just hang out in the basement for a couple of hours? 20 minutes before the show is supposed to start, 7 or 8 people show up, and I recognize all of them. They are friends of mine or friends of those friends, and none of them are from Denton. All of them drove from out of town to come check out this show. They're one big group that comes in together. I'm like, hey, how's it going? Yeah, find a spot. More people are going to be coming. More people are going to be coming. More people are going to come, right? More people are going to be coming, right? Nobody else shows up. Nobody else shows up. No one else shows up. Nobody else shows up. One more person shows up. I also asked the guy if he would come with us and film the entire thing. Because again, in my mind, this show is going to be incredible in this very cool venue. I want to have footage of everything so that I can put it online, show everyone how cool my shows are. Look where I'm performing. I'm a legit comedian. Don't you want to come see me? Look at all these people who love this show. And so he drives up with us. He's getting behind the scenes footage. He's getting shots of us getting set up. And then he has footage of me realizing that nobody's coming and how bummed I'm getting. I don't have the footage because I told the guy that I was going to pay him, and then I forgot how much I said I was going to pay him, and I was too embarrassed to ask him, and so I never paid him. And so obviously he never gave me the footage, which totally makes sense. And that's on me. That's my bad. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I would love to see the footage now. I don't want to hear it. I want to just watch my face as I probably die inside as the night continues. It's the embarrassment that hurt the most. The embarrassment that, like, I never even considered that this might not work. I never even considered that people wouldn't show up and that I would bomb. I just assumed it's all gonna be great. And now it's the, like, expectation versus reality just blowing up in my face. And I am humiliated because I just thought this is gonna be great. And now, like people have to suffer through this. And now there are just 7 people that I know who tried to pay me money to watch me do something that I could have just done if we were hanging out at Chili's. No, I don't think I could have done it at Chili's. We could have just done at one of our houses. This doesn't feel like a real show. And it's like I felt all of the excitement and all of the energy that I had just like... And then the realization, oh, I still have to do the show now. Oh, we have to get up and try to at least do something, which feels very difficult for me to do because I'm just like, I don't wanna. I think we ended up doing maybe like 15 or 20 minutes of an actual show before we gave up and just went, forget it. You know what? Let's just hang out. Let's just hang out. This feels too weird to try to do. I just was like, oh, nobody's here. This is gonna suck. Forget it. Forget it. Nobody came. Nobody came, so why even try? That's what is that? That's a fixed mindset. That's not what's the right one called? A growth mindset. A growth mindset says, hey, it's not over yet. Hey, we can still have a good time. You can have a good show with just 7 people. Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be great if I had that mindset? Or wouldn't it be great if I had the mindset of just because I failed this one time doesn't mean I'm going to continue to fail. But no. I just think, oh no, I failed so hard and I embarrassed myself in front of my friends. I never want this to happen again. And it's like, it became harder for me to take risks after that. That's not good. I don't want that. I want to still be able to take risks. I want to still be able to fail. That's like one of the most inspiring things about Abraham Lincoln is that dude failed so much. That dude, it was like failure after failure after failure after failure, and then he saved America. The man never gave up. You think after the first time he failed, he'd be like, that sucked. I don't want to feel that ever again. Nope, he still kept going. That tall, lanky freak never gave up. Defeated for state legislator, 1832. Failed in business, 1833. Elected to state legislator in 1834. Oh, that's not. His sweetheart died in 1835. What a loser, right? Had a nervous breakdown in 1836. Who didn't? Defeated for speaker in 1838. Defeated for nomination in Congress in 1843. He was elected to Congress in 1846, but then he lost renomination in 1848. Defeated for U.S. Senate in 1854. Defeated for nomination for vice president in 1856. And again, defeated for U.S. Senate in 1855. But then guess what? Elected president in 1860. He failed all these times, couldn't stop failing. Just failure after failure after failure after failure after failure, and then becomes one of the most iconic presidents to ever live, ever. We love this story. We love to focus on it. We love to tell people about it. Look how much of a loser this guy was. Look how much he failed. Look at all these terrible things that happened in his life until, ding, this wonderful thing that happens for a little while, and then he gets assassinated. But still, anytime you feel like you're at a loss, anytime you feel down on yourself for all the failure that you have, just remember you're in good company. Abraham Lincoln sucked just as much as you do right now, but he didn't give up, did he? Boop. But also, the reason why all of that is so inspiring is because he then went on to do something. You're not inspired just by the failure. It's the failure that leads to the success that you're inspired by. That's the part that matters, which is not what we had when we did this show. And yet, somehow, we were inspiring to someone. After the show, we're in the car driving the hour back, and it's me, Seth, and the guy who I never paid for the videos. Again, I'm sorry. And I am super bummed. Not very talkative, just like a rain cloud over my head. Usually after shows, there's still like a part of me that's thinking about what do I do next. But like tonight, there is nothing. There is nothing at all. Maybe tomorrow I will have enough to start thinking about what I can learn from this and what I can do different for next time. But like tonight, it just sucks. And I'm bummed out. And then from the back seat, the video guy just starts talking about how inspiring the night was. He was so inspired by us, watching us fail like that, watching how bad the night was for us, and you guys still did it. You guys still tried. It's so inspiring to see you guys fail like that. And I just remember being at the wheel and being like, I don't want to be inspiring right now. I wanted to do a good show. I didn't want to inspire you. How is this inspiring? It would only be inspiring if we did a great show afterwards, but all you saw is us fail. How can you be inspired by failure? I don't want to inspire you with failure. I want to inspire you with doing a good show.
Could you imagine somebody coming up to you and telling you that they're from the future, and 200 years from now, there will be a museum about you as a person, and there will be a map that says Taylor Johnson grows to manhood, and it's showing everybody where and how you grew to manhood?
First time I ever did an open mic was in San Antonio after I had turned 18. I invited a bunch of my friends to come with me and support me. We all sit at a table together up front. We're laughing at all the other comedians, and then when it's my turn to get up, my friends are laughing so loud at me and my material. After I perform, the next comic gets up, and before he does any of his material, he just looks at me in the audience, and he's like, just wait until your friends aren't here anymore, and then see how well you do. And I was like, that was scary that he said that, and like, I didn't know what he meant until next week I went back and did the open mic, and none of my friends were with me, and I bombed so hard. Ooh, I bombed so hard. When I first started, I would listen to so many interviews with comedians. They would just talk about that feeling of like, after you bomb, do you want to do it again? After you bomb, do you want to get up and try again with what you've learned, with the new experience that you've had, or are you ready to give up? And if you're ready to give up, then just give up. But if you can accept that failure and bombing and dying on stage is a part of the process, then you can really do this. And like, that's not always easy. Because like they call it dying on stage for a reason, because that's what it feels like. It feels like you're dying. It feels like death up there. I still get so nervous that no one's gonna show up to shows that I do. Last fall, I did a tour of my comedy storytelling show, Strong Feelings About Being Alive. I booked a bunch of venues in towns where I thought I had enough of an audience who would be interested in coming out. Most of the shows went really well, except for Tyler, Texas. I booked 2 shows in one night, and the first show, there was one family that came, 5 people, 2 parents, 3 kids. And the second show, there's like 5 people that come, but the venue is upstairs above a coffee shop. So I just go downstairs and I just go to random tables in the coffee shop and I'm like, hey, there's a free comedy show upstairs. Like I just decided like this show can just be free. If no one's gonna come, maybe I can just go down to the coffee shop and tell some people to come upstairs for free. And maybe we can get a couple more people in there and that could save it. Because I would rather not make any money and have a few more people show up than to not have anyone be there at all. And it goes surprisingly well. I did the whole show. I didn't give up. I didn't lay down. It still doesn't feel good to not have that many people come, but it didn't hurt as bad as the Abraham Lincoln show. It is hard to keep going when you've failed. There's gotta be like ways to remind yourself or ways to laugh at it. Or like, I don't know what like mental gymnastics that you have to do to go from like, I don't want to be hurt that bad anymore, to going to the mindset of like, it didn't kill me. I did that show and it was embarrassing and nobody came, but guess what? I didn't die, did I? Nobody killed me at the Abraham Lincoln show. I can survive that kind of failure. That kind of failure isn't gonna stop me. I'm unstoppable. I want that mindset. That's Abraham Lincoln's mindset. I want that. That had a basement where bands would play, and it was this cool little tiny venue. And so oh, that's very funny. The car that went by.